Can I kill every mob in Minecraft with absolutely nothing? No armor, no weapons, no food, no healing, no potion effects, nothing. We're about to find out. The mobs in Minecraft I separated into categories: neutral mobs, neutral monster mobs, and hostile mobs, each of them with their own boss, which will be the hardest mob the category offers. Be sure to stick around to the end because I will be fighting a lot of extremely difficult mobs later on. Anyway, we will first start with neutral mobs. We'll start with the pandas. They don't deal that much damage and are very slow. I like bees a lot, so this kinda pained me. Polar bears I honestly thought would be more harder to kill, but their range is so bad, so it was easy. Remember, it isn't cruel if it's for research. These llamas are literally one of the most useless things in Minecraft. I'm sorry, dolphins are literally awesome, but I had to do it for research. The goats were just goats. They didn't even try to fight back. Now that that's finished, the boss. This was literally a huge power level skip and made me thought it was impossible to beat. The Iron Golem. This one gave so much damage and had a humongous amount of health, though its weakness was that it was slow. That's literally it. My first strategy was just to outreach it and crit it slowly. While this allowed me to dish out a lot of damage, it was very reliant on consistency. One misstep causes you to get hit, and you can only get hit by this thing 2 or 3 times before you die. Eventually, I gave up on the critting and opted to slowly chip away at its health by spam clicking left click. So the moment the Iron Golem gets in my range, it gets hit. After the hit, I then back up to do it again. This was a very slow and tedious process, but prevented the Iron Golem from reaching me. The Iron Golem's reach is just a tiny bit shorter than yours, so if you fail to keep your distance by a tiny bit, you get hit. And so, after a lot of failed attempts, and a lot of tears, it was done. I was getting a bit impatient and tried to land a couple of crits on the Iron Golem. I quickly got punished after. At this point, my hands were literally shaking. And finally, it was done. Moving on to the neutral monsters category. This category only has a couple of mobs in it. Think of this as a transition to the hostile mobs. Anyway, the piglin had horrible reach and I was just able to combo him easily. The zombie piglin was the same but worse since it was a lot more slower. The spider was a bit harder but was defeated quickly by counterattacking its jumps. The cave spider was more challenging with its smaller hit size and its poison effect. And now, we are already moving on to the boss of the neutral monsters, the Enderman. This was a really hard mob to kill. It had a lot of strengths, it was fast, dealt a lot of damage, it could teleport, and most of all, it was very erratic. Its movement was unpredictable and hard to hit. After landing a hit on the Enderman, it will sometimes stop and immediately charge toward you, full speed, which was extremely hard to stop due to its movement. And with all of this, it still had a huge reach. I mean, look at those arms. After a while, I figured out a strategy against it. Basically, run. It was fast, so I had to match it by going backwards and jumping full speed, allowing the Enderman to approach me. This enabled me to hit it a lot more consistently. Combine this with the strat from the Iron Golem and I could barely manage this fight. This was the battle. finally, the Enderman was defeated. Now, the hostile mob category. This was the basic hostile mob. Killed it. My strat for the skeleton was just to dodge the arrows, and when it misses, I spam as much crits as possible. All I did was wait for the creeper to come close, crit it, and run, then repeat. The slime was a lot faster than I thought. Seriously, for a blob, it had some fast movement. When the slime separated, it was an easy job cleaning it up, even the babies. The witch was a hard one. It was literally like a tank. It kept healing up non-stop, which makes lowering its health take a lot more time. Combine that with the poison, and yeah. After that, I found out I can just run around in a circle so the witch would miss all of its potions thrown at me. And bam, I won. The husk was a drier zombie. Drowned was just a wetter zombie. Silverfish I hate because they're too small and fast. Endermites are the same, but they're more purple. The guardians I couldn't figure out how to kill the first few times because of its thorns. I kept damaging myself. Fortunately, when the guardian accidentally jumped into the pond, I followed it and found out it retracts its spines when I get near it underwater, which disabled the thorns effect. After I died, I fought it in the pond and just closed the distance between us and won. With the shulker, I had to be more careful to destroy its bullets because once I levitate, I can't stop the fall damage. I got hit by the bullets a couple of times but just tried to inflict as much damage to the shulker while levitating. Just like that, the shulker was defeated. I also died to the bullets after, but since I killed it first, it didn't count. Strays were a lot like skeletons, but you get slowed down a bit. A couple of punches downed them. The phantoms. These things were so damn annoying. I could only hit it once or twice before it flew up again. And it screeched the entire time, which wasn't enjoyable. The blaze had very bad aim and a slow recharge time between shots, so I just blitzed it after it missed everything. The wither skeleton was easier than I thought since it didn't really have that much range. For the ghast, I just threw its fireball back at it as soon as it came out of its mouth. I'll just say the magma cube was a lot more harder than slimes. It only attacks after jumping, so I can only crit it after it had jumped. Did this a few more times, it created children, then the babies, which I cleaned up. Now, the piglin brute is actually super hard, but with the practice I got from the iron golem and enderman, this was relatively easier. I just timed my jumps to hit him. And it wasn't that fast compared to the other mobs I fought. The damage it dealt was so much. I got hit because I got stuck in the terrain, so I played more carefully after that, but eventually I won. The Vindicator was supposed to be hard, but just like the piglin brute, I got trained, and now, this was just easy peasy. I swear the pillager was practicing in aim labs or something cause he just kept hitting his shots. I thought he would be similar to the skeleton, but it wasn't. I just focused the evoker and tried to dodge its vexes. Thankfully, he tries to run away from me, that way I could also get away from the vexes by chasing him. Most of the damage I got was just from those weird teeth thingies that come out of the ground. The vex didn't even try to attack me once. I thought it was bugged, but hey, a win is a win. These things are annoying, so I'm not complaining. But I think this was just the game going easy on me, because what was coming next was gonna be a nightmare. The iron golem was hard to kill with its high health, high damage, high range, and low knockback, but its weakness was it was slow. The enderman was hard to kill because of its speed, unpredictability, medium damage, but I could knock it back easily, creating space. Now, let's say we take the speed, unpredictability, and damage of an enderman, and combine it with a low knockback, high range of an iron golem. Now, we got the Hoglin, one of the most difficult fights I had. Even though it doesn't look like it, it was harder to fight than the iron golem. Because the iron golem was about consistency. If you just do the right steps again and again, you can win. The Hoglin was a lot different. It was very erratic. Its range is just barely shorter than yours, so you just gotta be in the right distance. If you just go backwards, you will go too far. If you slow down, then you might hit the Hoglin, but with its slow knockback, you get immediately hit after. This was an extremely difficult mob to kill, but after a while, I devised a strategy. You see, When a hostile mob gets close enough to you, it will tend to stand still so it doesn't get too close. That means if I move backwards and stop moving repeatedly while the mob is near, it will stagger, hindering its movement. I call this technique stagger strafing, and it was the perfect counter for the Hoglin. But it was very difficult to pull off. If I didn't strafe backwards perfectly, it will get too close and hit me. If I didn't spam enough clicks, then it will get too close and hit me. This technique was hard to do, but it was the only way to defeat the Hoglin. Here was the battle. The first part was hitting the Hoglin into the perfect spot to start the stagger strafe combo. Basically, locking the Hoglin into a pattern where I can continuously hit it. After some time, I finally aligned the Hoglin at the perfect spot. All they needed to do was to not fail. I did take a big chunk of itself off before losing my rhythm and getting hit by the Hoglin. Twice. I had to restart the combo again without getting hit or else I'm dead. I got a couple of failed hits on it before aligning it perfectly to start stagger strafing again. This time, I comboed the Hoglin perfectly and finally secured the victory. And with the Hoglin killed, I have successfully defeated the side boss. Yes, that was only the side boss because the final boss, Ravager, not even joking, was the most impossibly difficult mob I ever fought. It makes every other mob I thought was hard look pale in comparison. And I am about to show you why. It has longer range than you, so you can't even hit it first or stagger strafe it for that matter. It's extremely fast. It deals up to 8 hearts of damage, literally 100 HP, and receives no knockback like the Iron Golem and the Hoglin. I tried countless ways on how to beat this thing. None worked. And don't forget, I have to beat this thing with absolutely nothing. I'm sorry, but it's impossible to beat. Just kidding, I found a way to kill it. I, Creslex, have found 2 ways to beat it. What are the 2 ways you ask? Well, the first method is actually a lot more simpler than you'd think. What you need to do first is to load up your world, and that's it. You just did it. Whenever you first load in a world, you are granted 3 seconds of invincibility. I can abuse this mechanic to defeat the Ravager. I just need to load up the world, hit the Ravager as much as possible during those 3 seconds, quit the world, and repeat. And that is exactly what I did. Here was the battle. I messed up the timing here and got hit. And with a bit of time, the Ravager is now completely defeated. Oh yeah, the other method, you can basically outreach it, but that's boring. And with that, I've now just defeated every mob in Minecraft with absolutely nothing. That's basically it. Thanks for wait a minute. I'm forgetting something, aren't I?